Hey guys, DMS here. Today I have for you something really weird. Let's check it out. So these are the Sony PFR V1. It might be one of the strangest, if not the strangest looking headphone you've ever seen. And before we get too far into this, I want to note these little foam bits are actually something that I added on. They're just little sticky ones. They peel right off, but I put them on there for my own comfort. This is not a pair that I own. I wish it was. This is a pair that was loaned to me. That said, if anybody watching this has a pair of these for sale, let me know because I really want a pair of these. So the fit is really weird. And the build is really weird. They're made out of metal pretty much all the way across. There's leather on the top. The cables are non-detachable. These speakers sit off your head, and there's these bars that go into your ear. The actual bar goes inside of your ear and spaces the speaker off your head. But the bar is necessary for low frequencies because it works via bone conduction. So if you don't have the bar in your ears, you're not getting any low frequencies, or really any low mid-range. Look how weird this is. They're so strange. Comfort's going to vary a lot from person to person. Some people are going to find these unbearable. I personally could wear them pretty much all day just fine as long as I have these little foam bits on them. They're pretty great. But I also know others who have tried these and have said that they are completely unwearable at all whatsoever. And I can see why. It's not a particularly ergonomic design. There is a lot of movement available for these, so they can fit a variety of heads, but it's gonna be a really strange fit regardless. It's very non-traditional. They have 21mm drivers and they are free field headphones or ear speakers, however you want to call them. There is no seal between the driver and your head, so they suffer greatly on low frequency extension. In fact, the original version of these, which I was told sold with a portable DVD player as a mobile home theater experience, had a DSP bass boosting amplifier for them. Now, I don't have that, however, I did try to replicate it using DSP on a computer, but most of the time, I just listened to them plugged straight into an amp without any sort of DSP or bass boost. And we'll get to frequency response in just a minute. But either way, build-wise, these are actually pretty well built. I wouldn't take them and try and crunch them up, but being made out of the metals that they're made out of, they seem to have held up pretty dang well. I would have preferred a detachable cable. I would have preferred more padding in some places. Apparently these sold with soft tips that could go on to the bars that extend into your ears, but they are very hard to find. I couldn't find any. The actual owner of this pair of headphones could not find any either. Sony really made something interesting here. So okay, now we can talk about sound. They are a little bit bright. It's not terrible, it's not like crazy super mega, DT990 Pro murder treble. They're not bright like a Bayer T1, but they are a little bit bright. Bearably so. But I think what makes them bright isn't necessarily the fact that high frequencies are boosted, because they don't really seem to be. What it is that low frequencies are recessed, which is interesting because in some songs it makes them sound a little bit thin, but they still have a bit of body to them. These roll off around 500 hertz. Very high up, and if you're considering these, don't leave yet. There's more to it than that. It's not just, oh, there's no bass, I'm out. Maybe that's your thing. Maybe you have to have bass, but there are things these do that make them good enough that I still want to own a pair, even though they roll off at 500 hertz. Now, there's a few solutions to that. One, you could get them with the bass boost module, which is made for these headphones to fill that roll off. You could also just DSP in the low frequencies. That's completely an option. Or you could just use them as they are without anything. You're probably not going to be using these on the go too much because they leak a lot. It's about as loud off your head as it is on your head. They let everything else in so you can hear everyone else while they hear your music, and they look a little bit strange. I don't know if I'd want to walk through the grocery store with these sticking out of my ears. So I've used them at the office, I've used them at a desk, I've used them around the house, I've used them playing video games, I've used them listening to records. And regardless of this bass roll-off, every song I've listened to on the PFR V1 has been enjoyable. There's not been a single thing I've listened to on these and been like, wow, I sure do hate this, or wow, that's underwhelming. It has, across the board, been an overwhelmingly pleasant experience that I've wanted to continue. As the owner of these described to me, it's like rediscovering your music not in resolution, but in presentation. These do not have the resolution of an end-game headphone. These do not have the resolution of a mid-fi headphone even. I would say things like the DT1990 severely out-resolve these. But the resolution isn't what makes them interesting. You could play a low-quality recording or a high-quality recording and it sounds magic either way. And the reason for that is, like I said, because of presentation. These present themselves like speakers, but also not like speakers. There are times where sound sounds like it's on a grand stage in front of me, and times where it sounds like it is resonating from the central point of my skull in a way that most headphones, even the most narrow that I've ever heard, cannot recreate. And with this presentation, imaging is out of this world. Directional imaging, being able to determine exactly where a sound is coming from, is insane. There's a song Full Bloom by Coda the Friend. This is a hip-hop album, and in the beginning there is a monologue with sounds of a neighborhood of people playing, things like that in the background, and there's a point where someone yells off in the distance in the background, and the first time I heard it I jumped out of my skin and turned my head as I thought somebody was in my house. This is not like a one-time thing either. This happened to a pretty decent number of songs I listened to. I would hear something and it would startle me because it sounded like it was in the room, even with its weird frequency response, simply because of how my ears are perceiving the information here. There are times where something sounds like it's coming right through the center of my head. There are times where it sounds like something is 20 feet in front of me, but it's always crystal clear exactly where that sound is coming from, just to a pinpoint. Because something these do play perfectly well to the anatomy of my ears to pinpoint directional orientation. And because of that, they're actually amazing for gaming if you can deal with the comfort. Now, not quite as fun in some cases as some things that are going to be crazy bassy, maybe not as cinematic as that, but if you just want to know exactly where a sound is coming from and be immersed in the actual spatial field of the audio around you, they do that. This is an oddity that I really wish more companies tried to kind of reach into. Free field headphones, things like the K1000, the MySpheres, and these are not particularly common. We don't see companies really producing free field headphones now. Like I said, there is the MySphere, but it wasn't really the best. And I know I usually like to kind of wrap things up by talking about how you can power them. I know we covered that there is a DSP amplifier available for a lot of these if you get them out there. They come with that DSP bass boost pocket amp. But really, if you're looking for like a desktop amp to power them, you could run them on pretty much anything. They don't have the resolution to really differentiate between a lot of amps, so it's not really going to benefit. You could just plug them up to your headphone jack on your phone or your laptop, and you're pretty much going to be getting the same experience as if you plugged them up to a desktop amp, with the exception that if you need that extra juice to run a DSP or something like that, because you'll want to pull your preamp down and then EQ in your lower frequencies. Or the inverse and maybe bring down your highs. Either way, you're going to need more volume if you do that. So there you go. Sony PFR V1. Like I said, if one of you guys have one of these and want to sell it, let me know because I really want one. I think this is a great headphone for somebody who wants something interesting or just wants to collect interesting audio oddities. Because that's certainly what this is. It steps far outside of the normal and it's a very, very fun experience to try. And I really, if anybody here is at an audio company watching this video, make more free field headphones. I want there to be free field headphones in the world. It's such a cool experience. But anyway, that's all I have for you guys today. If you liked this video, please leave a like down below to let me know that you liked it. Comment letting me know what you want to see in the future, and if you want to get active in the community, you can at forum.hifiguides.com. And as always, don't forget to stick around and subscribe for more videos like this in the future. Until the next one, guys. Peace.